All right, so this is going to be a tutorial on the song How Great Thou Art. This is a great gospel song. This has been highly requested for me to do, so I am going to make a video for it. So there is going to be some sheet music that you can download in the description if you'd like to follow along that way, but you are not required to do so. You can simply just watch my hands and I will explain it and I'll break it down into different parts, so I will make it as easy as possible to follow. So the first thing I want to do is just go ahead and play the song. So don't worry about if you don't catch it at first. I just want to play it so you can hear how it's going to go. So here it is. And then it will repeat, but I won't really go through the repeats on this. I am just going to explain it as is. All right, so the song can really be broken down into, I would say, 3 different parts. The first part, which I'll explain in a second, is going to be repeated twice. You're actually going to do the same exact melody, same exact chords, and then it goes into that second part, which is, right, so that's the second part. And then it keeps going. And then this is kind of the third part, where the melody is the same, but the chords are gonna change. Like that. All right, so let's jump into part 1. So let's talk about the chords first. So, you are gonna need some music theory knowledge, or you can just simply follow along when it's more helpful. So, so the chords are going to be, we're in the key of B flat major here, right? So the key of B flat major has 2 flats, B flat and E flat. So those are going to be the 2 black notes that we're playing. So where those are going to be the 2 black notes. So the chords we're going to be playing is going to be a B flat chord, right? Which is B flat, D, and F. We're going to play a B flat 7 chord, which is the same as a B flat chord, but you also add an A flat, like that. So B flat, D, F, A flat, like that. Now if you can't fully reach a 4-note chord, you can leave out the F and just do B flat, D, and A flat, but try and get that 3rd note in there, right? So we go from this chord, B flat, to the B flat 7, straight to an E flat. We're going to use an inversion of the E flat, so we'll keep the B flat on the bottom, we'll go to E flat here and G here. So that's that first measure there. So it's here. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So let's just talk about that. The right hand here is going F, 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 D, F, 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 G, G, E flat, right? So here it is. So I'm going to do that one more time in slow motion for you. All right, so the chord change is really going to happen on D, on the 2nd F, and then on the G. Right, and it's going to continue G, G, and then on the last G, we're going to go to an E diminished 7 chord, which is going to be E, G, B flat, and D flat, like that. And then immediately from there, you're going to go to F in the right hand and a B flat chord in your left hand. Now, I know it doesn't look like a B flat chord because it's inverted, so if you've never seen inverted chords, you're just going to have to trust me when I say play. You're going to play F, B flat, and D there. here. Like that. So let's take it from the top here. There we are, just like that. Then we do D. The melody's gonna go D, F, F, E flat, D to end it. So we start on this. Then we're gonna switch our chord to an F, to a D minor chord from F on the bottom, right? So we were just playing this chord. So all we're gonna simply need to do to switch to this next chord is make this chord note an A. So we're gonna play F, A, D. Right, so we're gonna do da, 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 da. And then finally we're gonna get to an F7 chord here. Like that. So we're just gonna play F, A, C in our left hand, and the right hand will play E flat. So this whole measure here is da, ba, da, 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 da. And then when we finish, we're gonna go back to that B flat chord that we started on with D in the right hand. So I'm gonna walk through that whole, that's all part one. And that's gonna then exactly repeat. So I won't even explain part two, I'll play it, but you'll see it's the exact same thing. Now you may notice I'm using different fingers here and there because fingering is a personal decision. There's not very specific fingers. So you may notice sometimes I'll use my fourth finger, sometimes I'll use my third. Anything, right, can work. You obviously my rule is just you never want to do anything awkward. You know, you never really want to be like turning your hand like this to get to a note. If you're doing that, something's wrong. But generally it doesn't make a huge difference if you use your fourth finger here instead of your third finger. So let me play through the whole first part, going through slow motion, right? So I'll even count out the beats for us, right? So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3, and then it's going to repeat. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So that's the first section. All right. So now let's get into this next part. So next part is going to do F, F, B flat, D. Now when you land on that D there, you're going to play that B flat chord again, right? So we ended here. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. So let's take that part, right? So we got. Then from there, when we play C, we're going to do that B flat 7 chord again, right? Which is our B flat chord, but we add the A flat. And then immediately when we get to B flat, we switch to that E flat chord. And then back to that B flat there. So let's count out the beats, right? So we're starting here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So let me do that one more time, but in slow motion. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And then on the and of 3, we're going to do, right, so B flat, A, C. Now when you hit that C, we're going to switch to an F chord there. So now you have the choice. You could play the C with your right hand, which I would recommend since it's part of the melody, or you can simply play it with your left hand. The benefit to playing with your right hand is it'll stick out a little bit more because you're playing it with a different hand, so you can put more emphasis on it, right? Versus doing, all right, you'll hear more of the chord if you do it all with your left hand. So we're here, right? So we ended here. and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now this part's a little confusing here, quite a little bit of chords here. So we're here on the F and A in our left hand, C in our right hand, and then we're gonna do E flat, G, F, D. So we're gonna play E flat by itself, and then we're gonna go to this E flat over F chord. Now don't worry if you don't know what that means, I'll explain it. So we're gonna keep the F on the bottom, and we're gonna play G in our right hand, and at the same time we're gonna do F, B flat, and E flat like that. That's a nice suspension chord there. So we're here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then on the next thing, we're gonna play F in our right hand and go back to our F chord in our left hand. And then back to your B flat chord with D in our right hand. So let's take a look at that last little part here. So starting from the F chord, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and so on. All right, so let's take that second part now and just play that kind of a little bit in slow motion here. So starting from here, end of part 1. So ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. Now, the right hand melody here is going to be pretty similar to start, so we're going into part 3 here. Same thing we did before, right? But now the chords are going to change slightly. Now this is optional. So if you were able to do the last part we did where you did, and that works for you, you don't have to do this next part, although it'll be nice to do because it adds a little bit of difference in the piece, right? It's the same chords, but we're doing them in different versions, right? So we're finishing, right? Da, 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 1 and 2 and 3, F, F, B flat, right? D with our B flat chord there. But now when we play C, instead of just doing that inversion of our chord, we're gonna actually switch it. And we're gonna make D the bottom, F the middle, A flat the middle, and B flat the top, right? So we're gonna do like that. So da, da, and then we're gonna go right to our regular E flat chord there, right? We've been doing the inversion, we're gonna do it here. Back to your B flat chord. So let's just try that right there. Just like that. And then finally we do B flat, A flat, B flat, C. So right, so we end here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So now we're gonna do some chords there though. So and 2 and 3, B flat by itself. Then when we play A, we're gonna do this chord here, which is C, B flat, F, A. Like that's an F7 chord with C on the bottom. Right, so we're there. So we're started here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we're gonna go back to B flat in our right hand. And when we hit that B flat, we're gonna go to this chord here, which is D, F, and B flat, which is just our B flat chord inverted. And then we're gonna end with a C in our right hand and an E flat chord in our left hand. Like that. All right, so let's just look at that little part right there, right? So we're here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and then we'll get to the next part. But before we go to the next part, let's just take a look at part 3 from what we got so far. So we have that. And now we got a few more notes. We're gonna do D, E flat, A, B flat, and we're gonna put a chord on every single one of those notes, right? So we ended on C with our E flat chord, so that's 1 and 2 and 3. Now when we hit this D here, we're gonna play a chord that's D, F, G, and B. Like that. So 1 and 2 and 3 and then when we go to the E flat here, we're gonna play a C minor chord, C, E flat, G. Right there. And then when we play A, we're gonna go back to that F7 chord. So all we're gonna do from here is just move our thumb up to A and then add our index finger on F. Like that. And then we end on a B flat chord with B flat in the top. So let's look at part 3 all together, right? So we're starting here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and sorry, I almost forgot to do the inversion there. Let me take that back. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and that's it. So now, like I said, obviously the piece is going to repeat right back to the beginning there, and you can actually repeat it 3 different times. So you repeat it, so you do it once, then you would do it again, then you would do it a 3rd time, and on the 3rd time you would just finish it right there. So let me play through the song. I'm not going to play with the repeats, but let me just give you now a listen through, and so you can see it. But now, right, obviously you've been walked through the whole piece, so it may make more sense to what I'm doing. So here it is. All right, so that is How Great Thou Art, full tutorial on the song, right? Like I said, there is sheet music, which you can download below. It's totally free if you prefer to follow along with sheet music. It may be much easier because then you can kind of interpret it on your own and not have to follow, you know, my fingers and what they're doing. What I do recommend for everybody though, whether you are just watching my hands do it and just taking it in, playing it kind of by ear like that, or following the sheet music, is do not feel the need to go at the fast speed, right? When I went slow in the piece, that's really the speed you should be taking it at when you're first trying it and giving your hands a chance to find these chords. Right? More important that you're doing it in a tempo, right? Even if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's more important if you can do it all at that speed rather than having to go and then having to stop, right, and playing all jittery like that. Maybe you're laughing because maybe you've done something like that before, but that's really not going to help you learn a song. The best way to learn a song is to play it in a tempo, no matter how slow that tempo is. All right, so that is all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate all the requests for this song. I will be doing more gospel and Christian songs as well. Is there any pop songs you may be interested in, classical, whatever you would like a tutorial of? I will be happy to break down any piece in the way that I did so today. I hope you found it helpful. Please subscribe because it really helps this page keep going. And that way you can also stay in touch Read the description below. I also have great things. I offer free private lessons, free group classes, online courses, and so many other things if you like my style of teaching. All right, well, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon.